Hello. The 287th day of the heroic resistance of the Ukrainian people to a Russian military large-scale invasion continues. In the Lyman, Bakhmut, and Avdiivka areas, the enemy is concentrating its efforts on conducting offensive operations. In other directions, it tries to hold the temporarily captured territories, concentrates its efforts on restraining the actions of units of the defense forces of Ukraine, equips defensive lines and positions, conducts reconnaissance. Over the past day, units of the defense forces have repelled attacks by occupiers in the areas of the settlements of Bilohorivka in the Luhansk Oblast and Verkhnyo-Kamiansk, Spern, Yakovlivka, Bakhmut, Bila Ora, Kurdyamivka, Novobakhmutivka, Maryanka, and Novomykhailivka in the Donetsk Oblast. Over the past day, the enemy launched 10 missile and 33 airstrikes, launched 75 MLRS attacks. Russian missiles damaged residential buildings and other civilian objects in the cities of Kramatorsk, Kryvyi Rih, as well as the village of Stepin in the Zaporizhia Oblast. The threat of enemy missile strikes on the objects of the energy system and critical infrastructure throughout the territory of Ukraine remains in the future. In the Volyn and Polisia directions, the situation has not changed significantly, and no signs of the formation of enemy offensive groups have been detected. Enemy units are being trained on the training grounds of the Republic of Belarus. This country continues to support the armed aggression of the Russian Federation against Ukraine, providing territory and airspace for launching missile and airstrikes. Dissatisfaction with the activities of the military, political leadership of Belarus is growing among the soldiers of the border service and the armed forces of this country, due to the threat of involving the Republic in a war with Ukraine. In the Siversky direction, the enemy carried out artillery and mortar attacks on the settlements of Hremyak in Chernihiv Oblast and Esmen, Pavlivka, Kindrativka, Zapsilia, and Myropilia in Sumy Oblast. In the direction of Slobozansk, the areas of the settlements of Streleka, Krasna, Ternova, Ohertseve, Staritsa, Hadish, Vovchansky Kudary, Volohivka, Chuhunivka, and Kamianka of the Kharkiv Oblast were shelled by tanks, mortars, and barrel artillery. The enemy is conducting defensive operations in the Kupiansk direction. The areas of the settlements of Dvorikna, Kupiansk, Kislivka, Kotlyarivka, Tabaivka, Krokmalm, Pishchain, Berestov, and Prishatrovniv in the Kharkiv Oblast and Novoselivsk and Stelmakivka in the Luhansk Oblast were hit by fire from tanks and the entire spectrum of artillery. In the Lyman direction, the occupiers shelled the districts of Makiivka, Ploshchenka, and Nevsk in the Luhansk Oblast, and Terny, Yampolivka, and Lyman in Donetsk Oblast. In the Bakhmut and Avdiivka areas, the enemy is concentrating its main efforts on conducting offensive operations. The settlements of Bilohorivka, Verkhnyo-Kamiansk, Spern, Soldar, Bakhmutsk, Bakhmut, Klishchivka, Bila Ora, Kurdyamivka, Druzhba, Zelizn, Avdiivka, Vadiane, Pervomaysk, Nevelsk, Krasnohorivka, Maryanka, and Novomykhailivka, Donetsk Oblast were shelled by tanks, mortars, barrel, and jet artillery. The enemy is defending in the Novopavlovsk direction. Enemy artillery and mortars fired in the areas of Volodar, Bohoyavlenka, Prikostivka, and Zolota-Niva settlements of the Donetsk Oblast. In the Zaporizhia direction, the enemy is trying to improve the tactical position. Fired tanks, mortars, and artillery in the areas of more than 10 settlements. Among them are Vermivka and Novopil of Donetsk Oblast and Alhivsk, Dorozhnyanka, Huliapol, Zeliznikn, Stepov, and Plavny of Zaporizhia Oblast. In the Kherson direction, the enemy is defending and is strengthening the grouping of troops. It carried out artillery shelling of the areas of more than 15 settlements, which are close to the contact line. These are, in particular, Osokarivka, Zolota Baka, Dutchany, Antonivka, Bilohudov of the Kherson region, Kherson, and Mykolaiv. The enemy continues to suffer losses. The number of dead occupiers among those mobilized in the Kursk region is increasing, as evidenced by local mass media. In addition, due to information about human losses, the war in Ukraine is less and less supported by the younger generation of Russians. Rumors about a possible invasion of the armed forces of Ukraine are spreading in the city of Kursk and the region. In connection with this, the fortification equipment of defensive positions in the border areas with Ukraine continues. During the past 24 hours, the Air Force of the Defense Forces carried out 22 strikes on the areas of concentration of personnel, weapons, and military equipment, as well as 4 strikes on the positions of the enemy's anti-aircraft missile systems. Over the past day, our soldiers shot down 14 Shahid, 136 type attack drones, 1 Orlan, 10 UAV, and 2 more enemy drones, the type of which is being specified. Over the past day, units of the Ukrainian missile forces and artillery hit the command post, 3 personnel concentration areas, the artillery concentration area, and the occupiers' ammunition depot. I support the armed forces. Together we will win. Glory to Ukraine. Let's keep in touch.